Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Going Rogue Podcast. Before we get into it, we're going to take a second and thank some of the companies and the people that make this whole thing possible. HeavyAthlete.com is a cross-compatible database, meaning you can link all of your historical scores from NASGA to your Heavy Athlete profile, regardless of how your name was ever entered. All of your new scores will automatically update into NASGA going forward as well. We've created a pro women and a lightweight women's class, meaning you can finally see where you rank in your actual class. It's receiving updates all the time and is free to use for athletes and ADs. For more information, go listen to the One Turn NASGA No More or go to heavyathlete.com. The one and only Badger Highland Games supply. If you are looking for any and all equipment related to the Highland Games, reach out to Greg Martz. He runs Badger Highland Games Supply. You can find him on Instagram or Facebook by searching Badger Highland Games Supply. He's got a full price list. Hammers, weights, sheath forks, sheath bags, anything and everything you could need. He's your man.
Alrighty, and we are live. Pardon if there are a ton of breaks in this, because it's me cutting out all of my coughing and my sniffling and my shaking. But I am Jeremy Vudrell, and I'm here with special guest Randy Karlson.
Hey guys.
Newly minted A officially through Shag Rules. So we are going to do just a quick little one turn for you guys just to put something out. Matt did not throw Tartan Day South, but Randy and I just wrapped it up. It is April 6th. He was kind enough to put us up at his in-laws' place. And so we are just hanging out, watching Skinwalker Ranch, and I figured we would put a little something together to cover this. I will give a disclaimer. So the numbers we are going to be referencing are straight off of NASGA. They were very kind and already put them in. And the other disclaimer I want to make, because I'm sure it's going to sound like I'm bitching, is that Danny Webster won that fucking game. Is that me being deathly ill has nothing to do with that. That man kicked ass. And Kayshawn and Cody also very much deserve to be on the podium. So take all of my bitching with a grain of salt. I am dying, though. I feel like death. So it is probably 72 degrees in this house, and I started chattering my teeth a minute ago. It's been rough. Sorry, 70 degrees. It's still definitely not as cold as it feels for me. But my skin is also on fire. So, Randy, you're the guest here. How do you feel like today went? Let's start broad, and then we'll break it down.
I mean, I was very happy with how today went.
Nice.
I think I PR'd heavyweight, lightweight, heavy hammer, and sheath. So
Nice.
a bunch of PRs, half of them I actually turned the tiny little caber that the B class had, which was nice, and ran away with first place in the B class, which was a lot of fun, and I got a cool little axe out of it. So
exciting.
Can't complain at all.
Nice. And to give a brief background, because we're not doing like a full interview episode or something, we're keeping this semi-structured like our recaps. But you started throwing last year, right?
Yeah, my first game was Covenanter in September.
Yep. So how long had you been practicing with Travis and them?
I think I started in like late July, early August.
Okay.
So
we're getting
7-8
close
months,
to a year-ish
yeah.
of throwing, and then a little over 6 months of competing.
Yeah.
So, fun. There it is. Hoping I wouldn't have to edit this episode and it would be succinct, but we'll have to clip that out. So let's go. I think the way Matt and I usually do this when I'm not in a fever-induced fog is we go traditional order, and we just each break down our throws about how we felt on everything. So up front, weather was great. I mean, you couldn't ask for better weather.
Perfect day.
I might have gotten a little more sun than I intended, but I put on sunscreen like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
But I mean, it didn't get above 70.
No.
And it was sunny, and it was
just hot in the sun.
Yeah, it was not overly windy. It's just there's no shade on the field, so that's the only downside. But it was really great. So if we start with Braemar, we both had very similar performances on Braemar.
Yeah.
I threw, I think, 29 flat.
29 flat, and I was 29 5.5, and it was a beast of a Braemar.
Yeah, so if you've never thrown Shags, Braemar, it's 20... I think only 23 or 25. Oh, is it 25 pounds?
That's what someone said when I was throwing. So maybe
I believe
they were
it.
making that up.
The issue is it's got one convex side. Is that what an inward curve is? Sure. Concave. No,
Yes.
concave, because
Yeah.
caves go in.
Yes.
Look at that. 4th grade paying off. There's one concave side and one just ever so slightly flat side.
Yeah.
And but the trouble is it's incredibly thick. I mean, it's at least 6 inches thick, if not more. I'm a bad judge of what 6 inches is. Ask anyone.
Really big.
It was huge. It was a 12-inch stone. Actually, no, it was really small. It was like a 4-inch stone. I don't know. I don't know how to lie about this. My brain isn't working good. It was a dick joke. So, but it's you could get a good feel. What I did, I don't know if you do the same, Randy, was I put my hand on the slightly flat side, and then I tucked that concave side kind of right into where I tucked the stone, because I felt that it fit really well up against my jaw. But you end up with your hand 6 or 8 inches away from your face, and that was, I think, the only real tough part about that.
I think I did the opposite. I put the flat side
weirdo.
On my neck, and it almost had like a nice spot for my hand on the concave side.
See, I like to have something kind of rounded on my hand. I'd rather be cupping a stone instead of hyperextended. Yeah. But that's just me. And Randy beat me by 5 inches on that. So you know what? Hey, he might be onto something. Maybe you guys should hold the curve side. But yeah, so similar, and I think that put me second in the A's for Braemar.
Yes. Yep.
Spoiler alert, Danny won almost every event today, if not every event.
I mean, he had 14.5, so.
Oh, okay, so not every event.
No.
It was 8 events, so he lost some points here and there, probably on Sheaf, and then maybe Caber. We had a lot of 12s. I don't know.
Sheaf, you lost a point, and then Caber, you tied for first. Lost some.
So they would have split points. Oh, that's right, and then Wob, and then I don't know what else he would have. Anyway, Hammer maybe?
Open.
Oh, Open Stone?
Yeah, Hammer he crushed. So.
Yeah. So that was Braemar. We both did okay. I pulled off second. Randy won the bees.
First, yeah.
Is it going to be first across the board? Do we need
aside from Caber, yeah.
Okay, so Caber's your only asterisk on there.
Yeah.
So how many points did you end up with on the day?
12.
Okay. God, way to shit the bed on Caber, Randy.
I don't know. I hate Caber.
It shows. You need to beef with Caber. Make that a hashtag.
I can't.
Queef with Caber? Is that...
No.
It's pretty funny.
It has to end with
I'll laugh, but they're both start with a k sound, all right? One of us runs social media. No, I'm just kidding. So, anyway, that was Braemar. We went on to Open. And again, I'll sound like a broke record. I'm just going to bitch about the stone. This one was really weird because it's almost triangular. It had a larger flat spot and then two other flat spots that kind of came to a peak.
Yeah.
So, for me, I put my hand on the larger flat spot and then just tried to tuck that triangular portion down enough to where that point was below my jawline, but it was really difficult to do. It's a 17-pound stone.
It felt lighter than that, though. Maybe
it did.
It's because of the size.
It's pretty small. It's dense. If it was shaped just ever so slightly, if they just shaved that point down, I'd really, really like it.
Yeah.
I still didn't hate it. I just didn't throw it too terribly well. What did I...
You ended up with 36.7.
Yeah. So that's a mediocre day for me. I mean, that's 6 feet under my PR. So that's anemic. I will say I still felt like I could be Poppy through stones. I felt okay. Being sick didn't start to wear on me. I didn't realize how bad it was. I've been fighting this stupid backstory because it's my podcast and you're all gonna listen to me. So I was really sick at Sedalia and the week leading up to Sedalia. Like I definitely either had the flu or COVID, one of the two. The doctors were annoying. I did talk to them. They gave me nothing. They told me to suck it up. So by the time I got to Sedalia, I was on the tail end of that. Within a day or two after Sedalia, which was 2 weeks ago, I felt human again, started practicing, got like 3 or 4 days of practice in, and then I came down with whatever I have now, which, if I had to guess, is probably like a sinus infection.
Seems like
or
it.
respiratory.
Yeah.
So it's all in my lungs and my head.
It's like allergies on steroids.
It really is. I've been just coughing up mucus all day for 48 hours. And before that, it was a dry cough. It was awesome. I didn't have a fever until last night. That was new. I laid down and started shivering in bed underneath of all those covers. And it was an interesting night. So anyway, but I woke up feeling physically okay outside of coughing a bunch. And so I thought I could still be kind of explosive where I couldn't at Sedalia. So I didn't know what was going on with Open Stone. How did your Open Stone go, Randy?
Open has been a pain for me because if I ever do any sort of movement with Open, I'm fouling over the trig. So I've started...
It's a good direction to foul, though.
Yeah, I've started opening just with a power throw, and then I'm doing a modified glide. I don't even know what it's called, but...
Is it like a shuffle, or what do you...
No, I saw Matt doing it on Instagram one day for like a warm up, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea.
Is it
it's
a wheel
step with
drill?
It's a step back with the right foot. It's like
Yeah, this is great for the audio, but show me.
like that.
Okay, so it's just it's a step instead of a glide.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what it is,
All right.
but
Because I'll do what they call a decathlete start, or
Yes.
almost like a wheel drill, where
Yeah.
I'll, like for my opener today, I did it. I love using it in training. What I do is I put my right foot where my power foot would be. I take a step forward with my left, and I just kick my left back and go.
gotcha. Okay.
But you're just adding one extra step in front of that.
Basically,
So
yeah.
that's fine.
So I do power throw, then I do that quick one, and then whichever one I do better on, I'll do that for the third. Which
Okay.
my power throw is better, so I did it again and popped a 35.11.
Okay.
I was just off of 36, which is
not a bad.
a little bit under a PR, but
Yeah.
I think I got 37 at Richmond. So
Yeah, I debated going back to the wheel drill for my third, but someone ended up popping out a really good second throw, and I was like, oh, I'm now off of the top 3 for this event. I should just go for it and hope that I can pull out a 39 plus throw, and I didn't. So I still glided, and it was an improvement over my second. I think my third throw was my best, but that was where we ended up on the day for open. So then heavyweight. Danny Webster fucking stole the show by a lot.
11 and a half.
His best was 34.11 and some change. That was off of an extra. Prior to that, he threw 32 something. If memory serves, it's not marked down obviously because his best goes in there. But he won the event with 32 and change. I threw.
You finished second with 30 foot 7.5.
Yeah, it was an okay day for me. My first one was 27 and change, and I knew what I had done wrong. I rushed my cast, and so I landed too closed off, and I wasn't able to drive well. So I ended up finishing like way off to the right. I wasn't able to actually push out toward the sector, but I was able to fix that, threw 30 on my second, and then on my third, he should have called it a foul. We had a newer judge who was learning the ropes, and so I blew out the left side and asked for a restart. My feet were still half in, and he gave it to me. And I've watched the video back. He shouldn't have. That's no crime on his part because he was then fair to everyone else. Goulet did the same thing, and he gave him a restart. And neither of us won the event, so whatever. It was what it was, but I was a little in my head after that third one, so it was not my best throw. I think it was, again, just upper 20s.
Yeah.
But a 30'7" for me on the day for heavy, which is not a PR, so...
Yeah, and then I hit a PR. I mean, my last 6 competition heavyweights have been PRs. So slowly building, which is a lot of fun. And the goal was to come in over 26 so I could get the A class, classification, if you will, and got 29.6, which was awesome. Just slowly kind of built up speed across my 3 attempts, and that had some pretty good positive impacts.
Nice. That's good. So then... moving on to lightweight. Where did I finished like 4th or 5th for our group for lightweight, didn't I?
Yeah, it was a strong
How many people do we have throw over 60?
3.
3. So I came in 4th, I'm assuming?
Yes. The way that it finished with lightweight was the way that y'all finished the end of the day.
Yeah. So Danny, then Cody, then Kayshawn, and then me.
Yeah.
Which I ended up with a 57.4? 5?
Yeah.
Which is good for me this early in the season. I've been working on getting the 2-turn back together, and that 57 and change was still not perfect, but it was not overly exerted, and I was definitely starting to feel fatigued and shitty, as we will talk about shortly when we get to Hammer and Caber. So I was starting to feel bad, but I've been working on my cadence in my 2-turn and trying to be patient and build speed, and it actually worked out fairly well. There's a new cue I'm trying to incorporate, thanks to Jordan Patty, and he says, grab your tit. And I remembered to do it in heavyweight, and I forgot to do it in lightweight. It may have helped a little, but basically trying to use that left arm to really block on the finish.
Yeah.
And keeping it in tight. I have a tendency to just airplane it the whole way through. I don't really need to, so I end up crashing. It's really nice, because I have a problem with crashing off to the left.
Yeah.
And it definitely, if you watch my heavyweight, which will end up on our YouTube, I finished a little bit more shoulders level because I did tuck that left arm in and kind of pull it back. Mm-hmm. And I kind of did the whole throw with it like just under 90 degrees instead of doing what I've been doing. Zig heiling like our boy at the end of the day there. No one actually did that, by the way. I was a dick to someone, which is nothing new. So yeah, lightweight was really good for me. It just wasn't good enough for the day. We had a bunch of dudes Two of them were one turning over 60. Danny was the only other two turner that. So.
Oh, sorry. Kayshawn finished above Cody for lightweight.
Oh yeah. Either way, the podium was up there, and then there was me. So.
And then I finished 57.5, which is another PR. The goal is to come in over 54. I have a terrible tendency of just coming out flat on my throws, and that I think is taking away so much.
Well, apparently what you should do is a shitload of math, and then set up an entire wob standard halfway down there, which is not how gravity works, by the way. It's going to be a sharp fall off. It's 28 pounds. You can't compare it to bullet trajectory because the 30 feet per second our weight is moving is very different from the 1,200 feet per second a fucking 9 mil is moving.
Either way, Bryce pointed it out at Sedalia, and it's something I've been actively trying to work on.
Yeah, there's a big difference between saying, hey, try to finish taller and get more height in your throw.
Yeah.
Or pull from lower and try to get them.
Yeah, I just need to be a little bit more variable in my...
Hey, set up an entire height rig and then throw.
Which I don't have anyway, so it's okay.
No, what the fuck is... Hey, could you guys leave the wob standard up for a little while? I'm going to step into the crowd and practice my lightweight. Fucking abysmal. Ridiculous.
Heavy hammer.
Heavy hammer. Honestly, not a bad start for me to the season, being 2 games in and being sick the whole time. So I threw 72.5. But again, we just had a lot of guys throw pretty well. So I was expecting to be 75 plus. And I at this point in the day, I was starting to feel, I sat on my box the whole time. I didn't stand in the field and talk to anyone. I just got up when I had to shag. Shout out to the new guy I was shagging for. He didn't make me walk very far. He was a sweetheart. He actually was very nice. If he ends up finding this, you were very kind. I'm not trying to be a dick.
You?
Yeah, no, I would never. I'm really working on that. No one seems to recognize it. Probably because I keep being a dick. If people weren't so stupid, it would fix itself. Focus, Jeremy. So I was able to at least build on my throws as I went. I threw 69, then 71, then 70, whatever.
2.5.
Yeah. So I was building. I couldn't add speed. It was eluding me. It did not go great. Danny whipped out like an 84 or some 85, whatever. It's not his podcast.
I'm going to give him his flowers because holy shit.
yeah, good for him. It was really good. I sent him the video of it. It was a good throw. He had been over 80 all day, and then he popped out that 85. I think he was in the low 80s for his first 2, and then he really got a hold of one. But again, we had a field of guys that throw a really good hammer. Kayshawn's got insanely long arms. Goulet's decent at hammer. Even who was the other guy? The guy that may have came in last.
Caleb.
Yeah, was that the smaller guy that usually throws lightweight? I think.
No, I didn't talk with most folks.
If that was, let me see everyone's name because then I'll be able to rule it out. Because there's only one guy I think throwing with us whose name I didn't know, and I'm sorry, it was Caleb. So sorry, Caleb. But Caleb honestly had a really good day. He I think from talking to some people, he typically throws or used to throw lightweight, and he's either, I could be mistaken, either given up on that or just didn't feel like cutting weight this time. So he was much smaller than us. So it made sense that his distance events were on the whole at the lower end, but he still came out. I only beat him by 5 inches on heavy hammer. He had a good showing, and he did really well come sheaf. So that threw me for a loop. So good for him. But it just wasn't my day by that point. I was starting to get really tired. I was trying to hydrate and trying to caffeinate, and nothing was working. Third gear was gone. So that was how my hammer went. I took 5th, I think, out of a group of 6. That was where the downfall started. I started to eat a shitload of points. And I was like, well, there's definitely no beating Danny at this point. He could fuck up the rest of the day, and I just, after taking 2s and 4s, I'm not catching him.
Yeah.
And who knows what else is going to happen, and I just kind of let it be whatever it was going to be.
Yeah.
So.
And we started with heavy hammer, and my training's been iffy with the heavy hammer, but I was able to generate some good speed and hit a PR of 76.3, so felt really good about it. It didn't feel great coming out of the hands, so I guess that's a good sign that I probably got a few more feet to generate. So
good throws feel good.
Yeah.
And then they go far.
Yeah, it went well. again, just kind of worked my way up from the start and was able to generate a little bit more speed each time, and can't complain at all.
Yeah. Sweet. So we didn't do light hammer, field size. What does my phone want? Low battery. Yeah, I know. Shut up. So no light hammer due to field size. So we moved on to caber. Yeah. And Randy had a rough day. I'd arguably, compared to how we each usually throw that event, had a rougher day. So like all the cabers were pretty light. They were very dry. Light. They were very light. I think the initial caber that the bees threw was only like 75 pounds, he said. They were fairly long. Yeah. I mean, 75, 80 pounds. Ours couldn't have been much heavier than that. It did have some weird crooks to it. Mm-hmm. It was really bent. But
we had the straight one. Y'all had the crooked one.
It felt fine in the hand. I picked it just fine every time. It always felt like it was sitting centered. I didn't feel like it wanted to walk off any weird way. But my first two throws, I pulled just really late. I was taking for granted how light it was and not equating for how long it was. Yeah. And after the second one, I watched the tape back and I was like, oh, I'm just pulling insanely late. The top end's just so far away from me that light or not, I'm definitely not strong enough today to pull this off. So I corrected on the third one. I told myself I was just going to get to the end of my run and then pull. And I nearly pfeiffered it. It went up and stood vertical. And Thomasina was side judging, and I forget the guy's name. 13 PSI was back judging, and they went back and forth. And I was like, I'm gonna go shag it. Y'all discuss. I'm not offended with whatever you call it. Like Kayshawn came out and threw a midnight right out of the gate, and like he was the guy at that point. I kind of knew like I have to get points on Kayshawn if I'm gonna be on a podium at this point. Like Cody was just too strong. Danny was running away with it. I was like, if I have to beat anyone here, it's Kayshawn. He threw a midnight out the gate.
He looked really strong on caper.
Kayshawn is incredibly athletic, and I don't know how much time he's devoted into practicing, so I could be horribly off here. But if he really buckled down, he could be very, very good. He's got some weak points, but I mean, who doesn't? So it is what it is.
Paid, so.
Yeah. But he had a really good caber day. A really good day all around, honestly. He didn't do terribly at anything, I don't think. Did he have any like horrible events? Before I put my foot in my mouth, let me call you out, Kayshawn. Just kidding. He rubbed liniment on my back. It was amazing. His stones were a little on the weak side, especially his Braemar. That was 26 and change, which is still an okay Braemar. I'm not 25 foot heavy, so it's respectable distances, but I think he is capable of more, is how I should word that. He's not throwing poorly. I think his build and his athleticism, he should be throwing further.
Yeah.
But yeah, caber sucked. So I came in, I want to say last on caber. I ate 6 points on that. Yeah, because I think the other guy, I've already forgotten his name again. Caleb, before he didn't even look it up yet. Caleb, I swear to God, I'll learn your name. I'll never see you again, but I'll learn your name. I'm trying to be nicer. Caleb ended up turning it on his third and pulling like a decent-ish score, like better than the 905 they gave me.
He got a 12.
Yeah. So kudos to him. He pulled it off, and I ate shit. So it is what it is. Yeah, Randy, you want to talk about your caber?
Yeah.
Cabers.
Oh God. So the bees started with a bigger caber than what we ended up throwing, but it wasn't big by any stretch of the imagination. It was long.
That's what she said.
It was long and it was relatively light, and I never expect to turn a caber on my first pull. It's
a good mindset. You should keep that up.
I know. I need to change that, but I usually use it just to kind of.
Your coach should do better, Travis.
I usually try to feel things out, and none of the bees turned the first caber, and they said that they wanted to go to smaller caber, which is fine. But I thought that I could have flipped the first one, but c'est la vie. We got a smaller one. It had to have been like 50 pounds. It was so easy, and I just couldn't get it straight.
Finished wood, top to bottom.
Yeah.
It was real.
Yeah, it was super small, super easy to flip. I mean, I flipped my next two. They weren't 12s, but I flipped them. I finished with 1230.
Okay.
Which, it's
so you
fine.
have 1230 in NASCAR now, at least. So
exactly.
You got something.
All that matters. Yeah. So hopefully Lloyd's isn't massive.
It's going to be big.
Nice.
You're throwing in the A's, buddy.
It's going to be super fun.
Yeah, maybe I'll still be sick and I won't fucking deal with it. The way things have been, I'll have some whole new illness by 2 weeks from now. So yeah, as expressed, I am at this point in the day incredibly tired as I lay horizontally on this love seat recording this podcast. But at least I'm not drunk.
It's true.
Killing it. We went to Sheaf. I actually had a pretty okay time at Sheaf. It could have been worse. It was on par. I was able to gas a little bit when I needed to. It's such a light event that I could off of timing get okay.
It's hard to feel fatigued throwing Sheaf, I feel. Unless
I
you
pulled it. By the time I got to 28, I was nailing it. I was feeling real shitty. My back was starting to go on me. But I came in at 22. Originally I was going to come in at 20, but I kept giving everybody shit. So I had her pass me at 20 as well. Hit 22 on my first. Hit 24 on my first, I think. And then took me a couple pulls to get 26, and then I missed 28. I think I had the height on at least one of them, but it was close. I was gassed at that point. That's probably why I did have enough gas to throw 22, 24, and 26, because I waited until 22 to come in. It probably saving some headache. Goulet, if you happen to find this, you came in at 18, and you're like a 31-foot sheaf thrower, so the fuck are you doing?
He threw 32.
Yeah, he threw 32. He came in at 18. What are you doing, my guy? You little spinning SOB. So, anyway, I also maintain that if you build the sheaf standards, it's cheating to throw them. So, anyway. But please send me the plans on how to build that sheaf standard. So, that was my sheaf day. It was fine, but we had, like Randy said, Goulet went 32. What did Danny throw?
30, and there was...
Yeah.
Yeah, so you finished third.
Tied for third.
No, tied for fourth. Right?
Tied for fourth, yeah, because I think Cody threw 28.
Caleb had 28, yeah.
Caleb threw 28.
Yeah.
So me and Cody went out at 26. Maybe even Kayshawn did. I think Kayshawn
was 24.
24, okay, sorry. So, but anyway, I mean, it was a good showing on Sheaf. I mean, everybody was over 24 in the A's, and then a bunch of guys taking shots at 28 plus. I mean, that's a good day. So, it went well. I don't think anybody was mad at it. Randy, you had
I had a really great Chief day.
Another PR, right?
PR, yep, foot PR. And that's coming off the tails of getting nothing at Sedalia. So I had a very concentrated effort the last 2 weeks to drill and make sure that I was finishing back and actually between the standards. And I opened at 18 to build a little bit of confidence, and I probably didn't have to, but
No, you didn't.
It built my confidence, so I was okay with it. And I first throw on 18, 21, 16, no, I don't, where did we open?
Y'all did
We opened at
3-foot
19. I opened at 19.
So 19, 22,
19, 22, 25, 28. I didn't miss any until we got to 30.
Okay.
And first throw is not great. Second one, I hit the bar. Third may have had the height, but it was a little in front and to the left. So was really happy with it. I know that I have 30, I think. It was also the last event of the day for us.
Yeah.
So if we do that maybe before WOB, I get 30.
Yeah.
But it built a lot of confidence. It was a really great day. Didn't really struggle at all until 30, so it was nice.
You were able to take shots at a higher WOB than you had been. So
yeah, exactly.
You know, each one pays off.
Yeah.
So yeah, to round off the day, WOB, I came in at 12, and I was done at 12. I hit 12 on my first. I rolled it over. It wasn't cleared by a mile. My first warm-up felt okay, but I just, looking back, I wasn't fast. I wasn't strong. It was shit. So took 3 pulls at 13, maybe had the height on 1, but I was just gassed out. It wasn't happening. It definitely wasn't a 14 day, because it was barely, if ever, a 13 day. So very short and sweet. I think Cody won WOB. Did he throw 15?
14.
Okay, I knew he took shots at 15. I think he took WOB, and maybe that's where Danny ate another point.
Yeah.
Too. Mm-hmm. But again, Kayshawn had a good WOB day. He's a tall, strong dude, and that paid off for him. So that was my WOB.
WOB was our second event of the day. Open at 11. I probably am going to start opening at 12 now because I don't need to waste that energy.
Yeah.
Cleared 12, both 11 and 12 super easy. And 13, I think I cleared on my first throw too. and I was the only one that cleared 13, so I took a few pulls at 13.5 to try to get a PR. Knocked the bar on my second one, and the third one, I think I was just a little tired because I was the only one going. If I had to pull on my third one on my first, I maybe would have cleared it, but I'm very happy with tying a PR at 13. It was a good way to start the day and build positive momentum.
I was a real jerk one time, and I called 13-4. I think it was at Green Hill, because I wanted to PR, but I didn't know if 13-6 was there, so I called 13-4, and I think I was the only guy in NASGA for like a year with a 13-4 wob score in. So they're extras. Do whatever the fuck you want with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then as the day wound up, I ended up coming in fourth. Let me see what the points were there, Randy. Give the people what they came here for. Shout out to Tartan Day for putting these into NASGA right away.
It was immediate.
Yeah, it's
You got in the
fantastic.
car and the scores were up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Love that. You could do it even quicker on Heavy Athlete. If you're listening. But so Danny Webster took first with 14.5 points. Cody second with 22 points. It's an 8, I think, game. So that checks out. And then Kayshawn, 27.5. Me, 32.5. Which, trends with me finishing almost one behind him in 5 out of the 8 events. Goulet, 33 points. He was nipping at my heels. And then Caleb with 38.5. So, not a bad day. Yeah, I'll wait and give an overall summary after Randy gives you all his point total, which is really low.
Yeah, I finished with 12 points. The only points I ate were on Caper rather, which I kind of come to expect at this point. But it was a good day. Super happy with it. Got a cool axe.
Yeah.
Need to find out where I'm going to put that now.
Up your axe hole.
Good one.
That was a pun, ladies and gents. All right, so my feelings on the day were, one, it was a fun game.
It was a fun game.
I enjoyed it. It was a good group of dudes through with. We also threw with the lightweights, so they were a delight. We had a couple of guys who were lightweights, and it was their first game. And here's the only thing I will take issue with. We opened Sheaf incredibly low and did 2-foot jumps. And we opened Wob at 10, which I don't love, but fine. They were debating opening it lower. And they're like, well, we have newbies. And, well, I'm sorry, newbies. Sometimes you're just going to know height. And if it is the A class, or even the lightweight class, in my opinion, should be treated as an open class at worst. It shouldn't be treated as a novice class, so we shouldn't lower the standards. It's okay to know height. It's fine. Stop throwing people bones like that. If they want to go somewhere and throw really low, then go sign up for a novice class. I understand there are flaws with that way of thinking, but that's what I'm sticking with. If it's
The issue is there's no novice in Shag.
well, then unfuck your stuff, Shag, or go throw outside of Shag. There's nothing stopping you necessarily. I understand funds or knowledge, sure, but it's also perfectly fine to go, hey, this is my first game. I may fuck some stuff up and get a 0. It's fine. It happens, man. But no one expects you to be perfect your first time out of the gate or your 10th time out of the gate. So live your life. All right, my bitching is over. Fun game. In reality, I threw several season bests that, while not PRs, are good on-track numbers for this time of the year, sick or not. Being over 30 in the heavyweight is a goal I've set for myself, that every game I want to be over 30. Sedalia, I shit the bed. I was deathly ill at Sedalia.
Yeah.
Not stellar today, but enough to hit positions. And a 57-foot lightweight, I'm not mad at that. That's historically better than most of mine are. So to be sick and early in the season throwing 57, it makes me hopeful that a consistently or multiple games over 60 year is very much within reach. And honestly, hammer didn't feel bad. Watching the tape back, it looked fine. I think on a healthier day, I'll do okay. Sheaf, I'm perfectly fine with throwing a 26-foot sheaf. Sick. That's cool. I'm good with that. Everything felt fine. I think I would have had my first 28 if I hadn't hit the ground. I skimmed the ground with it, and then I think I was done. So, and I know I can throw good caber. I'm not in my head about that caber. I'm a good caber thrower, so it's fine. I'm not beating myself up for that at all. So yeah, on the whole, and I know I'm a good wob thrower, so I'm I'm not mad about that. I ended up just north of 5,800 points, I think Randy said now.
58.72.
58.72. So that's a perfectly fine jumping off point for early April. I'm good with that. None of this matters right now. We're just building. So that being said, I'm not stoked when I don't podium. I'd like to podium. I'd like to win, but I'd really like to podium. So it's a little bit of a bummer, but it's a very mediocre bummer. I'm going to be just fine after I rest and get whatever is happening in my body out.
All of the medicine.
And they won't give me anything. Here's my other bitch. I went to the damn doctor, and they were like, we're just going to tell you to rest or hydrate no matter what you have. Enjoy. And fuck off. So that's been working out great. I've been sick on and off for 3 weeks. Doc, explain that. By the way, don't email me or DM me explaining that. I don't care. I just want to be mad. Randy, thoughts on the day?
It was a great day. I mean, I'm super excited about it.
You're an A now.
Yeah, I'm an A now, which is a lot of fun.
What an a-hole.
I know, I really am. But, multiple lifetime PRs, practices paying off, which is good. So, happy with my Braemar. My open still needs to improve. Weights are feeling really, really good. I'm generating a lot of speed. I just need to have a more low to high release point on my lightweight. Sheaf is great. It's almost like throwing a sheaf bag 200 times in the last 2 weeks has made a positive difference.
Weird.
I know. Practice helps. And wob is wob. I'm tall, long arms, and I'm starting to feel more comfortable doing it.
There you go.
Which helps quite a bit. So really, really good day. Super fun day. Great guys in the B class. A lot of newbies too, which was fun to kind of coach a little bit. I'm not sure if they should be listening to me, but they did. So,
hey, Greg, if you're throwing sheaf, stand inside of the sheaf standards. What the fuck was that? Anyway, sorry.
Good day.
Good. All right, ladies and gents, that is our recap of Tartan Day South. You know what? I probably won't edit out those 2 coughs. It doesn't seem worth my time. So if you have to listen to me cough, I am sorry, but enjoy. Bye.
The Barn Gym. If you guys are anywhere near Caroline County, Virginia, or Ruth or Glen, or feel like making a drive and find yourself somewhere near the 95 Route 1 corridor in the northern part of Central Virginia, stop on by and check out the Barn Gym. It is the only 24-hour strength facility in that area. It has everything you need from Highland Games to strongman to powerlifting to grip sports or just general fitness. You can find them at thebarngymva.com, on Instagram at thebarngymva, a period between every word, or you can email them at ltgthebarngym@gmail.com. That's L as in Lincoln, T as in Tom, G as in George, thebarngym@gmail.com. Check them out. We'd like to take a moment to talk about our other sponsor, ChemStud. ChemStud is an app to help you with chemistry. Written by a high school chemistry teacher who was tired of explaining everything over and over, ChemStud is capable of solving basically any and all general chemistry problem. ChemStud is capable of showing its work using significant figures and is receiving new updates all the time. ChemStud is available on iOS and Android for $4.99 in the App Store. Stop struggling with chemistry and become a ChemStud today.